For side one of the layering technique, we are going to start with simply painting a shape. So select your color and paint your shape. And the key for layering is letting the paint dry. So you have to be patient with this one. You can't really layer unless you've let the paint dry. Otherwise, it's just going to blend and bleed into one another. Layering can be challenging because every time you add more water onto the color you've already painted on your paper, the pigment reactivates and the watercolor paint will continue to spread. So I'm going pretty carefully and very lightly with another transparent layer on top of the triangle I already created. I decided to do it a little bit off to the side so that we can see the difference between one layer and two layers. Patience is key for this one. You really need to make sure the paint has dried and that you're not using too much water as you're doing this technique. On side two, you are going to find a natural object, and the idea is to paint this object in layers. So I chose this shell, and you're gonna see me beginning very lightly with my first layer of color. I'm simply just painting the silhouette of the object. That's my first layer, getting the shape. And then in my next layers, I'm going in and I'm adding a bit more detail, like the shadow on the sides or ridges of the shell. In the last layer, I might be adding the markings on the shell. It's really a push and pull. You have to go back and forth. But essentially, you're going to begin very lightly and then slowly layer on darker color as you go. In my first layer, I was making sure my silhouette shape was accurate. In my second layer, I started to add in the shading or values, looking at the creases and the shadow in between all of the ridges. And then in my final layer, I started to add the actual color or pattern on the shell surface.